Welcome back to another episode of a very basic space program. Last time we had a look at some suborbital rockets that we put together. We got some biological samples, we got some film return canister missions done. We're going to do a bit more of that this time. We're also going to change some of our plans and do something a little, or try and start doing something a little different. So let's get going. So here we are at the main screen, and we're actually going to first of all have a look at our upgrade. Well, we're not going to look at upgrades. We're going to look at our research. We got 13 science after the last batch. We're actually going to put some points into, because we've now hit our sort of target milestones over here. We're actually going to put some into supersonic planes, because I want this cockpit and I want these parts. So we're going to do that. We can also then get an upgrade to that for 2. So we're going to get that. That gives us 10 left. So we can either go for these basic solar panels, or we can go for orbital rocketry engines. We're going to go for orbital rocketry engines. It's going to leave us 3 left. So the next thing we purchase is probably going to be this, because I think we're closed off on almost everything else at that point. So let's go and see what we can do. In mission control, we have a few missions we can do. Now, we have a craft that's actually in the middle of being built, and it was a duplicate of our film return mission. And I think we're just going to try and do that again. I think with a bit of luck or a bit of good guidance, we can get that 400 kilometers downrange distance with that craft. So we're going to choose that. And that gets rid of all the others. And it leaves us with these ones. We got potentially, we can have 2 contracts at the same time. I'm tempted to take this because it gets us a nice forward bit of cash. But I think we're going to go for this one, breaking the sound barrier. We have now got the science underway at some point for the capsule for the crew, and I want to get into rocket planes and things like that. You can on RP-1 now disable the whole rocket plane mission thing, so you'd actually not get these two. I have not, because I'm just playing in standard mode. If you're playing other sort of tracks, you might want to get rid of it, but we're gonna try and do a bit of both. So I'm going to take that, and that's going to give us a bunch of cash. So what we're going to do with it? Well, first of all, we're going to look at our upgrades and our tech. Well, this is almost finished. It's going to be finished pretty soon. We have, what vessels have we got? This one's going to be done in 145 days. So we've got 145 days for that. We've got this tech that's going to be finished very soon. Then we've got these that are going to take a while. Now, before we get to those, I'm actually going to move, here we are, supersonic plane development. We're going to move that all the way to the top, just behind the one that's about to finish. Okay, so that will finish next, hopefully. Right, there we go. So that should be finished in about 150 days. So we can then start looking at what we're doing with that. And we're going to put this one, do I want to move that up? We're going to leave that where it is for now until we actually get a plane built and see how it's going. We'll make a decision about that later. Upgrades though. We have got 1 upgrade point, and we're also going to buy 2 more. So we've got 3 in total. We're going to leave 28,000 in there. I'd like to leave more. I'd like to do more, but we will see. We've still got our 6-ton pad that's going to be built, so we've got that out of the way. But what are we going to spend these on? We've put 5 into the VAB so far. R&D is going to be lagging, so we're going to start bringing R&D up. We're going to put 2 into R&D and just 1 into the VAB. There we go. So that now means that these vessels, we're going to have 22 days, 132 days to finish this vessel, and our tech has dropped quite a bit now. We're down to a little bit more sensible numbers. We need to keep pulling that down though, because that's still a long time to do 1 science point. So we're gonna hurry on this vessel and yeah, see what's going on. But if you'd like to give me any feedback on what you'd like to see, whether you'd like to see fast builds, slow builds, things like that, please do so. Right, let's fast forward, get that rocket into the air. Now, because we've actually changed our build rate and our research rate, what has actually happened is we're going to be finishing our supersonic plane development before this craft can actually launch. So when that finishes, we'll probably go into the space plane hangar and have a look at what we're going to build. So let's get that out of the way, and then we're going to move over and have a look at. Right, so here we are in the space plane hangar, and I've already put in the X1 or the conic cockpit that we've got here. So the first thing we want to do is build sort of a rough fuselage that we're going to put our wings and so forth onto. So first, the thing I do, or I'm going to do in this case, is I'm actually going to I think we're going to design it with a little bit of security, because I don't want to kill pilots. Is pretty much what I don't want to do. So we're going to stick a parachute on the back there. Now I'm sure that, you know, parachute. No, we won't do that. We'll do that. So we're going to put a parachute on the back, like I saw, and by putting it in, there we go. We're going to be absolute, and we're going to just move it to the middle there. Am I happy with the position of that? Yeah, that's okay. So we've got a parachute on there, and we'll actually, I can do this now. We can actually set this for the correct mass. So we've got the right size. I'm happy with the size, and do all that. When do I want it to trigger? I don't really mind. I like it to trigger 3000, and we're going to have a nice gentle flop down. Do we need to worry about anything else? 6 miles per hour, that looks okay to me. So we're going to apply that, and that drops its mass down nicely. So that is now ready, and we're going to put that on the abort sequence. So it is going to be armed on the abort. Right. Now you're thinking to yourself, why are you putting a parachute there? Sea Monsters, why is a parachute going there? Because we are going to, let's see, have we got coupling? Yeah, we do. We've got to have, I'm pretty sure we do baby sergeant, decoupler, decoupler. That's what I want, a ring decoupler. There we go. So I'm going to put a ring decoupler on there as well. And we're going to make that diameter of 1 meter 25 centimeters. There we go. That's going to go there. And that's going to be our sort of link to the rest of the craft. So if we have a problem, we'll fire that off, and we'll actually set that now in the abort sequence. In abort, we're going to decouple. We'll decouple both sides just in case. And there we go. Now this can actually be set. Let me just check this. You can actually set this to decouple different ways, I believe. Where is it? Select nose, select mount, all that. So that's interesting. You used to be able to actually change, or whether it would decouple both sides, things like that. I'm not going to mess around with it because I don't really. Oh, there. Disable top staging. I want the top staging. Enable bottom staging. I don't mind about that. So anyway, we're going to leave that as that should be okay. Right. Next, we want to build the body of our craft. We're going to do that with some of our. Let's see, these are still under test because we're going to do conventional tanks, and I'm going to do. We're actually going to do multiple of them. So we're going to do a meter long sections, and we're going to make them one. We're going to make it the same width as this. It's not the ideal way of doing it, but we're going to do it this way anyway. So 1, 2, 4. I think we're going to do 4. We're going to do 4. I think that's a good start, and we don't want that one in the way. So that's going to be the start of our fuselage. We may make it bigger, we may make it smaller, I'm not sure. And then at the end of that, we're actually going to put a like a boat tail, I think, primarily to actually put our engines in. And we want to actually be able to change out our engines in this craft, ideally. So we'll have a look at that. I think, let's have a look. In fact, you know what? Yeah, we'll keep it at that. I was thinking of making these a little bit longer, but they should be enough there. So then we're going to go for payload, and we're going to find our boat tail adapter. I want that one. That's a nice one. We're going to rotate that round, stick it on the back there, and then this is going to be, let's have a look. We want the base to be the same as the rest of the craft. There we go. We want the top, so this end here, we want that to be a little bit less actually. We want that to narrow down. So we're going to go to 1. I want it to be, now I'm trying to think. I will fiddle around with this, but I don't really like having a full 2. So I don't know, about there. That's a nice size, I'm guessing. I could go 7.5. 7.5 is more rounded. No, I'll do that because it will give me just the 12, which is a nice thing. If I put another tank in there, it'd be fine. Right, we've got that. Now, I also don't want it to just go in like that. So we're going to put on this, and I want this to stay there. I want the cycle to start there, but I want the end to actually be starting at about 1 meter. So we're going to just have the last 80 so centimeters being the changing area for that, and that's good. Wonderful. So next up, we want to put some sides on it. So let's have a look at conic. Yeah, let's go conic. We'll go conic. We'll see what that looks like. And you've got to remember to rotate these so they fit. Put them on like so. like that. There we go. That looks okay to me, and that's starting to look like the shape of a craft. And you can see we've got our badge there. That's interesting, isn't it? We might change that logo on there. I think we'll get one without the white patch on, and I'm not going to do this in white. I'm actually going to do it in a bright color. So the next step is parachutes and is wings, but I'm actually going to do this wing speedy uppy because I like to fiddle with those. So speedy up time. So what I'm actually trying to do here is just to put together some first of all my main wings. So I'm going to do that in two parts to give myself a little bit of a graduated sweep. And the first part is going to be quite short. It's going to be, well, not quite short, it's not going to come out very far from the body. Second part is going to be the main structure of the wing, and it's going to be sort of delta wing shaped. After that, we then look at control surfaces. So control surfaces for, oh yeah, I do colouring as I go along as well, by the way. We're going to do control surfaces at the tail end there. We're going to have two horizontal, two vertical. The two vertical, however, we're going to have a small one underneath. So again, we basically use the same shape for our horizontal control surfaces we do our vertical, and then our lower vertical is actually just going to be sort of trimmed off, and that's primarily because when we come in for landing or anything like that, it's going to get in the way. And then we just, it's a matter of playing around with flaps on the actual wings themselves, just the elevons and so forth, things like that for pitch and roll. I'm not sure which way I'm going to set them up now, but I do know I'm going to need them. Primarily the sort of pitch is going to be controlled by the tail section, and the yaw will be by the tail as well, and we're just going to use the wings for the roll. So there we go, and of course the nice color scheme. So back to normal me, and yeah, you can see we've got basically the bare essentials of a craft there. I do actually need to recolor this. Let's have a look. Where are we? And we're going to recolor this into the same coloration. We've done everything, so we're doing bright orange, because why wouldn't you do bright orange? Yeah. In fact, we're going to put a black line on that just because I can. So this is going to be our sort of prototype planned craft. We're going to have to put some engines in it. I'm going to have to think about that. So I think we will probably go with, I think at the moment we're going with some tanks. Let's have a look at how much is it going to cost to actually put together. So it's going to be 200 days to build this thing currently. Let's have a look to the cost, the total vessel cost at all parts are tool. So the total cost for tooling is going to be, those are going to be 5,000. So it's just going to be 5,000, I think. And then we've got the fairing. So we're looking at about 10,000, maybe 10,000 for putting this together. And it's going to save us a lot of time on that. Okay. We may do some tooling, we'll think about it, but what happens if we actually convert this to, and these aren't actually set properly, they should be high pressure, because we're going to be using high pressure or pressure requiring engines. We're going to max these out a bit, so we're going to get to, there we go. Let's get this all sorted first of all. So we've got to go aluminium. We're going to use our new aluminium tanks. We could save up and so forth for when we get upgrades to those, but we're going to just I think this will probably just stay as it is. It's hopefully this is going to be the basis for a sort of series of these. We're going to change out the engines, possibly refine it a little bit, but the idea is that this craft should be able to do quite a lot of missions for us. We've got the supersonic range on it. It's not going to have a jet engine. We could convert it. We could actually stick a jet engine in the back, and I might think about doing that, but we need a good engine to go in there. So what's the tooling cost going to be now look like? Okay, that's not bad actually. Let's have a look. How much is tooling all of them? Tooling all of them is going to be 10,000. That's a big chunk of cash, but it does get us 76 days. That's without the engine though, right? Let's have a look at engines, I think. So what engines do we've also got to pay for this, haven't we? So how much is it going to cost? That's going to be 10,000 as well. Oh, this is starting to get build up a little bit there. So that's going to be the wings and all of this stuff. Now engine and cockpit I think requires, that's about 6,000 for the cockpit. Let's have a look at engines. What have we got that we could put into this thing? I think Do we have the XLR? I really was thinking XLR. What have we got? I think we go for the basic small XLR, which is this one, I believe, XLR 11, and we put a couple of those in for starters. We just go for a couple for starters. Yeah, not that many. I think we're going to go for 2. We're just going to put 2 in, not 4. Not 4, thank you. So we'll go down to 2. We're going to rotate them. Yep. We're going to put them in close to each other. There we go. And then we're going to actually pull them out because we're going to leave space in there. In reality, you know, we've got plumbing, we've got all sorts going on. We're going to leave space in there for future expansion with bigger engines, and they should hopefully fit with minor changes. So there we go. So the question is, do I spend 10,000 to reduce the price of this? I don't think I do, because we're not going to use this. Normally I would use this width tooling for my rockets, but we've actually gone for a rocket with a wider tooling, so it's not actually going to save us much. And these fairings, well, you know what, it's going to be 300 days to build this though. Is it worth the time? That's the question. Let's load this up with some fuel anyway while we're thinking. So there we go, up there, all the way up. Brilliant. Full, not full. We'll get that one. Full. Right, what's our mass looking like? Because we need to do this, right? It's 7. I need to check whether we can actually launch 7 with airlift, but we'll have a look at that. If not, I'll empty some of the tanks out. But this has got a lot of fuel on it potentially for a long burn. We're not going to use all of that. And there's one final thing we're going to do. You notice there's no wheels on this at the moment. We're not actually going to land it with wheels because this is designed for high speed. It's not going to come into land easily. And I know a lot of the original lifting body designs that were put forward, they were using parafoils and parachutes for recovery. So we're going to do that. We're going to go for parachute recovery. So we need a couple of parachutes. We need one on the top here, about here, and then we need another one about there. In actual fact, what we will do is we will set up one of them first. So this, we don't need 2. Why is there 2? Oh, it's on the bottom, right? So let's just go to 1. All right. So we're going to go back to here. We're going to set this as, let's see, we could make it smaller. We could go, yeah, we make it nice and small. That's nice, isn't it? Little tiny parachute. Right, I want to come down about 6. Okay, I would like actually to come down less than that. I'd like to come down about 5, and I'd like there to be 2 parachutes. I'd like it to trigger at 3. I'd like it to be fully done at 750. I'd like there to be deployment speed 5. Oh, it takes 6 seconds to deploy. That's interesting. Let's drop that to 4. That's nice. Let's have a look. What is the mass of this craft as is? Oh, that's a good point. Let's apply that. Okay, what's it say? Oh, it's not too heavy. Okay, you know what? We're just going to go with that. In fact, no, we're not. I'm actually going to empty the tanks. We're going to empty the tanks, and we're going to measure the mass of this craft. At least that gives us an idea of what we're looking at. All right. Okay, this is going down a lot, isn't it? Okay. So this thing's now what? Let's call it 3 tons. So it's a 3-ton craft, because if we ever upload it or we've got fuel coming back and we haven't emptied everything out, it's worth us having a bit of extra and give there. So yeah, so at least 3. If we're safe, we go 4 tons. Yeah, maybe we go 4 tons. Let's go 4 tons, because then we can burn, 3 tons of fuel at least. So come back into that. We're going to set that parachute for a 4 ton. Let's have a look. Use current dry mass, switch to wet mass, input how many tons. I want use tonnage as 4 tons or 5. Let's make it 5. Make it 5 tons. That's more sensible. Right, what's that do to us? It doubles the size of the parachute. Okay, I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. I'd rather have 2 bigger parachute than 2 small. Right, put that one there. We're going to check this one is actually taken. So let's have a look. What's it working with? it has not. That really annoys me. Right. So we're going to use, for this one, we're going to use 5. Use 5. We're going to use 5. We're going to say there's 2 parachutes. We're going to do this at, what was the other one? 3,000. So 3,000. And this is going to be 750. Right. I think I'm happy with that. Apply those changes and we're done. Yeah, building aircraft takes a long time, doesn't it? All right. So I think we are ready. I think this craft is ready. We've got engines there. I want to make sure these decouplers are disabled. So where are we? Where is the decoupler point? Crossfeed, open recolor, remove symmetry. Rigid, there we go. Turn that off. All right. We need to put this to here, and we need that parachute there as well. That's our emergency everything's gone wrong thing. We need these ones tied to 5. So that's going to be arm, and that's going to be arm. Alright, let's just check these parachutes once more. Alright, okay, looks all good. Large engines. We do have that emergency escape system if everything goes horribly wrong. So there we go, the Coniston 1. If you can tell me why a British person would call a speedy craft the Coniston, you win a prize. Yeah, you win a prize. Right, we're going to save that. We're going to start building it. I think we're going to do some tooling actually. Yeah, we're going to tool some stuff. So let us tool. That's not going to require much. Well, that's gone down in cost. That's interesting because it's not thinking right. We're going to tool this. I think we're going to tool that tank. It's a nice generic size tank. We can probably use it again, and that brings us down to there. How much does it cost for the others? Oh, let's just tool it. Let's just tool it. Let's get it done. Right. So we're down to 140 days because of the engines. So we're going to save that. We're going to do that. It's going to cost us a lot of money, so we have to get this rocket right. Okay, so I'm going to prep that, going to launch it, and get everything ready, and we're going to go back and launch our rocket, I think. While the Coniston 1A starts to build or builds, we have the Javelin 1B ready to complete this mission. We need it because we are very, very low on cash right now. Putting together Coniston 1A has taken all the cash we've got, all the advances we've got, so this launch is pretty important. We could go bankrupt here. We may end up actually having to restart if this goes horribly wrong. So let's see how this goes, fingers crossed. Welcome to the launch pad. This is probably, I think, the most important mission we have at the moment, or are likely to have for a while. We are on almost zero cash. We cannot really afford to do another one of these. We may have just enough to roll out the plane and get stuff with that, but we'll be tight on cash for that. So it's going to be difficult, very difficult. So I think this is going to be key for us. If we don't do this, we may not have enough money to do pretty much anything else. So I'm not entirely sure what the next steps would be. So I've added downrange distance onto this orbital info sheet. You can do that by clicking on E, going to the recorder, clicking on the downrange distance, and it'll just put it on the bottom there. You can then remove it by looking up here and just clicking remove. Okay. Right. Let's get this done. I think. All right. We've got full thrust on. We're going to watch for the engines getting to thrust, and then we'll release from the clamps. There we go. We're off, and we're going to go up, and I'm going to turn this straight away. There we go. Straight away we're turning, and I'm just going to keep going because I need to get horizontal. This speed into this as quickly as possible. That is going to be the problem. I'm also going to try and remember to stay attached to the craft because we learned last time on our re-entry that actually the rocket itself is actually it's got more density, shall we say, than our probe. So it will actually carry us up a little bit further. It'll carry some of that speed through the air if we need it to. We also need to keep an eye on the apoapsis because we want this to return, and it cannot return from too high an altitude, so that would be problematic. So we're at 55 now. Am I okay at 55? I'm worried about these fins just blowing up at some point. That would be my concern. Right, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Right, I think with that, I think we go to 70 or 80. There we go. Right. Oh, yeah, we lost a fin. Okay, we lost a fin. We expected that. We did expect to do that. Right. We've got a bit of speed. We're going to decouple the fairings there. We're going to start our science. So we've hit the controls for that. So now it's just a case of, do we get up into the required position? We're actually going to be quite shallow. But it's the horizontal that's key. It's the horizontal that's key. All right, we're approaching 100 now. We've got quite a bit of horizontal speed. That's good. I think we might have done it. We need to get to about 200 on this before we start coming down. If we can't get to 200 on this before we start coming down, we're done for, pretty much. That's going to be the problem. And we should be sort of, oh, it's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. Let's slow it down, and then let's just let this spin. Right. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on. Right, okay. Right, we're over the 200, and we've got a little bit more. So every bit. So we need this right now. This is important. We're going to be so very close to this. This is going to be so very close. So let's have a look. Have we got the 400? That's the question. We're at 218. Okay. 220. We have to have made 400 by the time we come back through the atmosphere. Right, we're going to use a little bit of a bump to keep us going up, so we're actually going to decouple when we're facing that way. There we go. Just give ourselves a little pump, a tiny little pump. Oh, right. So, oh, this is going to be so tight. Right, let's arm the parachutes. Right, now it's in the lap of the gods, as they say. Coming down. Right, we're at 300 kilometers as we come in, so we've got to carry 100 kilometers through the upper atmosphere. I don't think we're going to do it. I don't think we're going to do it. I think we've failed. I think we have failed this. I can't believe it. Oh, I don't believe it. Come on. Keep going. Just keep giving me a bit more distance. I just need a bit more distance. So we need another 70. We need another 60. 50 now. 40. It's going to be tight. 30. 20. We're going to start slowing. I need 10 more kilometers. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. I think we've got the distance to whether we're actually going to burn up on re-entry now. So that was... Ooh. Right, we've got all sorts of science issues going on. Parachutes are not going to open at the moment. We're slowing down. Okay. Right. Oh, that was how close we are. We were 10 kilometers over. Oh, I don't think you're going to get closer than that ever. That's something I do not need to do again. So we know that this craft is really quite limited on that mission. Right. Oh. Okay, that could have been a problem. Right. I suppose we can speed down now to parachute deployment. Have we actually got science? I don't even know if we had science. I think I clicked the activate science button, but I don't know if I did. I actually don't know if I did. We'll find out when we come down, I suppose. Right. Okay. Parachutes. Are we over? We're over water. What we can do is, while we're coming down, I can actually show you. We can actually go through here. We've done all this already. You can actually find the biomes, and I can't remember where they are. Where is it? Surface biomes. There is a section in here for biomes, which I will find, and I'm not sure if it's MISC or if it's in surface or somewhere else. It might be something like target. I don't know. Anyway, it's in there for biomes. I will find that in between episodes or whatever and put that in, because it'll be useful to have it as well as the downrange for now anyway. Alright. Parachute should open at 300, I think. We're pretty safe for parachute deployment. We don't have signal anymore, so I just hope the parachutes can deploy without signal. There we go. Parachutes are away. That's good. Right, we can just speed now down as quickly as possible to the surface. And they've got max deployment. There we go. Right. What a horrible looking craft that was, and my heart is pounding because I actually realised as we were going up that this was going to be so tight. Wow, that's so hopefully that 20,000 is going straight into paying for launching the next plane. We are not going to cut it that fine ever again, I hope. If you do any of the speedrun stuff, a lot of the speedrunners will actually cut things to literally within 1,000 or 500 or 0 at sometimes, so that if a mission goes wrong, they're over. But then they restart the whole program. I don't know if in speedrunning you're allowed to redo the flight, because I don't know if this had gone wrong. I suppose I'd have had to stop the series and say, am I allowed to redo the flight if I'd have got it wrong? I'm just glad we didn't have an engine failure, actually. I was thinking if the engine failed on the launch pad, that would be better than if it failed in flight, but we'll see. So we definitely need to do something else with this booster to do any further range contracts on it. However, this film capsule is quite heavy, so maybe we can do some of the biological tasks from now on. I don't know. Maybe that's an idea. We'll see. Oh, we're completely out of electric charge. That's how long. So its electric charge lasts all the way down to literally 20 meters before touchdown. Oh, that's good. And we're down. And then we're going to do the jump up and down. And there we go. So recover that. Let's see what we have got. And of course we have the long loading screen as we wait for the inevitable terror of have we completed the task or not. I don't know if we have. Why is it always longer when you think that there might be a problem? I don't know. Here we go, coming in, and oh, I've got upgrades available. That means I've got some science from somewhere. What have we got? Okay, we've got a chunker up to 13. We got some biological sample, and we've got some biological sample and some. What else have we got? Planetary photography. Oh, we got shores. Nothing over shores, but water with photography. That's good. So we got 7.5. That's good. That adds into our stockpile already. Gives us another point, and more importantly, we've got some funds. Oh, brilliant. Now let's have a quick look at the missions we have. We've already taken the break the sound barrier one, which is going to be our next target, I think. And what's this one say? 600 downrange, 300. Not on your life is that happening. That is not happening. And what have we got here? Low biological. How sounding rocket payload 75. I think we could probably do that. It's not a massive payout, but we could probably do it. So we'll think about that though, because we're also going to spend our upgrade point. Now the question is, where do we spend it? Let's have a look. So at the moment, yeah, I think it's going to have to be research, because we're going to be waiting on research. I think the Coniston's got 5 months to build, but even so, I mean, I could rush it. How much is rushing? We could rush 10% of it and save 14 days for that. But we're getting to the point now where rushing that, we might as well buy upgrade points, so we won't do that. I think we're going to spend our upgrade point in the R&D, because that takes us up a big chunk more. And that means, yeah, look, we've cut 10 days off everything. We've actually, we've reduced it by almost 10%, which is a huge saving for us. So, right, now the question, do we try and do something else before the Coniston? I think we have to wait for the Coniston to finish. So I'm going to time warp ahead. We're going to go to 1953 and we're going to prepare ourselves for the Coniston. But first, when we get to within 10 days, I will see you again. It is 1953. We've gone all the way through, a big chunk of the year to get this craft ready. We've spent half a year building the Coniston. It's taken up a lot of our time. We're running out. Well, we're not running out of time, but we're running through time here. And before we launch it, there's one final thing that I want to do, and that is we're going to edit it. Because we want to actually make sure that all of our flaps and everything are set how we want them. Now, you can do this when you build it. I forgot, actually, if I'm entirely honest, and it's one of those things that I need to do before I actually launch things, otherwise it just won't control itself. So, what do we actually need to do? Well, let's have a look. First of all, we need some pitch control. So these left and right are going to be pitch control. So, standard control surfaces, I'm not going to have any yaw with them. I'm going to have any roll. They're going to do just pitch. Okay, wonderful. And that deflection looks as though it's going to be fine. All right, this is going to be a standard control. It's going to be for yaw. It's not going to do any roll. It's not going to do any pitch. Okay, there we go, that's that. And that deflection is fine. And over here we've got our outer tips here. They are going to do our roll. And I'm going to try and just have them do roll, actually, for now. We will see if we need anything else. And what we will also do is, do I want to put these on roll? We're going to leave these at the moment. So these are actually going to be just on 0 for everything. Because I think these tips will be enough to just give me the little roll that I need. Because we're not going to be circling this craft. It's not going to be highly maneuverable. It just needs to stay in a straight line, pretty much. But what I can do for these is we can actually set them to be spoilers or flaps. So we'll put them on as spoilers for now, just to give us, yeah, that's active, wonderful. Right, so we'll save those edits and we will get ready to put this thing onto the air launch facility. And that will take a little bit of time. It'll take, I think it's going to be about 11 days, I think it says. So we'll put it on the air launch thing, then we'll get a pilot in it and we'll see what happens. So click that, let's warp towards, there we go. Right, now we can air launch it, there we are. And we've got to choose our distances. We're going to choose about 100 kilometers off the coast. It will normally be bigger than that, but I've shortened it. Launch azimuth, that is the direction you're facing when you actually take over the craft in the air. Azimuth from Space Center is the direction from the Space Center that distance is from you, so it's all relative to the Space Center. And then the altitude and velocity are obvious. We're going to put Janet Riley in the on the hot seat because, well, she's the one that's there. So there we go. What I will say is I have actually knocked off crew training because I wanted to just have mission training, but that doesn't seem to be working. I think I've updated RO and it seems to have messed that up a bit. Sorry, I've actually updated RP-1 and it's messed that up a bit when I've done an update just at the start of this because it's all being sort of redeveloped at the moment. So that's annoying. So we've got rid of that. It's not something I'm a massive fan of anyway. So let's go and launch. Right, so we are basically arrive on the launch the runway, but it's going to jump us up into the air in a minute, and you have to be ready for this because you're basically going to be, first of all, putting your SAS on, then you're going to max out your thrust and fire your engines, and I've got one engine out already. Brilliant. So we're now to try and gain a bit of speed. Let's see, can we actually get a bit of a, yeah, we've got a bit of upwards. Now I'm going to try putting autopilot on. Autopilot does not like that at all. We're actually going down. We do have the wings trying to pull us up. That's good. I have not really ever tried canted sort of tail wings like these, so this is a new one for me, so this is interesting. Now, because we do not have full power on our engines, that's going to be a problem because we're not going to have a lot of thrust here. So we're going to hold it at this angle here, and we're going to try and get up to our target, which is going to, now we're already doing stuff. Now we actually got our science done. We got that science. We'll get those on. Get those telemetries on as well. Get that going on. All right, it's not going to be useful because we're too low. But let's have a look. What are we aiming for? We are aiming for breaking the sound barrier. So we need to break Mach 1. I'm not entirely sure. It should be about 300, something like that. Now this engine will burn for a long time. We've got an awful lot of delta V in this engine. What we can do is, can we actually just deactivate this? Actually, can I? Does it give me the ability to? No, it's completely off the game. Yeah, I can't even shut it down. That's really annoying. So what you could do, what you used to be able to do in some situations was actually if you have a multi-start engine, you could shut it off and start it again. Let's have a look what the glitch is with this though while we're going along. So let's have a look. Test flight says it's just got failed to ignite. Okay, plane failed to ignite. That's annoying, but not terrible. We can deal with that. This craft hopefully will be able to get up to the speed we want. We've got enough fuel on board. It's going to get really light. So Coniston 1. There you go. A nice paint scheme that you've got there. Got a few little decals on, just, you know, explosive bolt warnings there that are important. We're just hoping this engine is not going to kill itself. Now the positive is this craft, even if it goes horribly wrong and we don't break that target that we have, once we've flown it once, we can fly it again. We've got the parachutes, we can bring it, or we should be able to bring it down safely, and that should be fine. Now, I think when we get to about 10, we're going to try and level out a bit. In fact, we're going to level out a little bit now. We're just going to bring it to about there. So I don't want to lose my altitude. I don't want to lose altitude. We're looking at that. It's just holding. But I want to try and get some horizontal speed into this because we need to try and get horizontal speed. And now we are doing this with with one engine, which is, oh, we're actually doing it. We're breaking the sound barrier. That's wonderful. So we're breaking the sound barrier now, and I think we're going to complete the mission. Superb. Downrange distance. We have done. Oh, now we're actually approaching. Oh, we're approaching. This is cool. So we finished that. That's wonderful. We are actually ready to finish this this flight now whenever we want. Just got to return home. So we're actually going to pass the KSC. So I'm actually going to get us nearby. We're 100 kilometers away. We're going to go for a bit more levelly flight. There we go. We're going to let this keep going, actually. Just get a bit of runtime into these engines, get some data into them. You can see there we're rocking up some data. Yeah, now that's interesting. This engine, when it failed, got a big jump. Now I wonder if that's because of the failure. And if you bring it back, you get a bigger chunk. I don't know. That's interesting. Right, we can get rid of our missions, and there we go. We see the coast there. So what we're going to do now, because we're over 400, that's wonderful. I think we're ready to cut the power. We're just going to glide, and then we're going to dump our fuel. So how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to go to the manifest, and we're going to do some dumping of fuel. So we want to dump the liquid oxygen. We're going to dump some ethanol. There we go. Dumping away, all the way down. Trying to lighten this craft as much as possible for coming in. We're going to keep oxygen on board. We're going to keep everything else good. We've got electricity's doing okay. Crew's fine. Oxygen. I wonder if you could dump helium. I would imagine that's being used as pressurant, though in my mind it's actually filling up the gaps, and we can't not use it. I don't know. So we'll see. Let's have a look. Pressurant. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Right. I guess we're ready to come on in. So let's take us down. We'll do a swoop down, and we're going to aim to land inland. I mean, we could actually try and bring the craft round and down, but I don't feel the need to do that. I'm not sure how maneuverable this thing is at low altitude. We're going to arm parachutes, I think, although maybe at this speed it's not a great idea to do that. We're going to pull it through the clouds. We're going to get it nice and low. Now, obviously, we don't have any landing gear. We would actually have skids or something built onto this, and the X-15, if I remember rightly, had a lower tail section like this that it used to basically get rid of on landing. It would blow it off once it had finished. Now we're actually coming in really steep. What we're going to do is we're going to put it into a stall if I can, although I don't think the flight or the pilot will let me do that. So we're going to come in, and I just want to put it down near the. Let's try some roll. Semi-roll like. Oh, that's not bad actually. So our roll isn't too bad. We do get a bit of G-force. We're going to just do a turn. Do a turn. And see if we can just turn this craft around. Here we go. Coming around. Yeah. It's not bad actually. I thought it was going to be a bit like a brick, and I think we're about to lose. We're about to lose it. Yeah. Yeah, we go. We're now losing all of our power, so we're going to 5 it. Parachutes away. Whee. Look at that. That's horrible. Right, how are we? Oh, this is going to go tail first in a horrible way, isn't it? Oh, are my parachutes the same size? They seem to be. Oh no, it's sort of balancing out a bit. Not terrible. Put our brakes on, so that flaps up these little spoilers here that are going to just pull the engine the nose up if we were going forward. And then you can see the craft. We can actually speed it on down a little bit. Have we got full deployment? Yeah, we've got full deployment already. So you can see the craft looks glorious there. We've got a nice little shot of its danger warning. That's our explosive safety compartment. That's probably going to come in useful in the future when we try and come in for do anything. If we have any problems with wing destruction or anything like that, or the parachutes are not effective. Now we're coming in at 3.9 meters per second, which isn't bad actually. So that's what we're aiming for roughly. I think we may lose the tail, if I'm honest, but maybe that's a learning experience. The 1B will just be this one with an added change to the tail. I sometimes put these lower sections on, sometimes I don't, primarily just to rebalance a little bit the vertical stabilizers. We're going to slow it down as we come in, and we'll get ready because potentially that will snap off. Let's see if it's going to fall off. Oh no, we're okay. There we are. Down and safe. So let's recover that. Well done, Janet. Can you EVA? Oh, you can EVA. How wonderful. Can you do an EVA report? I mean, it's not like it's going to do anything for us. We're not going to get anything. You get nothing. You get nothing. You get nothing. Right. We just boarded then. Right. That's good. We know we can actually get out of the cockpit through the side door, because I was wondering whether the actual marker on the back of the cockpit was the exit, but obviously we can get off the side, so if the parachutes work, we're going to be okay. Right, let's recover this to the spaceplane hangar. That's important. Don't want to do a normal recovery because it'll just crash it. So this will actually take it to the spaceplane hangar so we can reuse the craft. Right, and after that flight, we've got no new science at all, but we have completed that mission, which is wonderful. So we can have a look at what else we've got. So next available missions, we have rocket planes. Reach that speed between those altitudes. Well, we almost did it this time, so we can do that, and we can actually do that straight away. So at the start of the next episode, we will look at doing another one of those while we probably build another craft to complete some of the other rocket ones, because we don't really need to spend much time with the rocket plane now. We just need to fuel it up. So from me, until next time, please comment down below. Do you like the speedy up bits? Do you like the plane bits? Would you rather it just be rockets? Do you want me to do some more speedy up bits? It's up to you. Please tell me. Contact details for Twitter and all that sort of stuff. I think we're about to get a Discord server down below. So please like, subscribe and all that things. And until next time, have a great one.